Today I'm going to run you guys through how I make my animation cells, hand-painted animation cells. You've probably seen them in some of my videos that they look like this. As you can tell, they look a little different than the digital animation. It's because they're hand painted, they're hand drawn, and I'll show you how I do them today. For starters, you're going to want to get 12 field cells. That's polyester cells. And I used to order from a company called Cartoon Color Company, color spelled with a U, and they no longer exist. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. Today, this is my last cell. This is my very last animation cell. This here is acetate. I've got this from a craft store. This is just, and I thought it might do the trick, but unfortunately this is pretty much garbage. This is a very sturdy material. And when you're handling your animation cells, you want to wear white cotton gloves. And unfortunately, I do not have those. I have latex gloves. But whatever. And you're also going to want to get animation paper. I also don't have that. I'm using just computer paper today. Like I said, it's my last cell. And these are expensive. This is an expensive hobby, so you might actually want to start with the cheaper option, the acetate, to get a feel for it. This is not a cheap way of learning animation whatsoever. And now these things are, I use 10.5 by 12.5. Just the normal standard size as far as I can tell. And today we're going to be doing a drawing, and I already have a background. This is from the cast out intro, just a wave. And I'm going to do a little drawing, and we're going to ink it, paint it, and I'll show you how I get them digitalize them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the background painting here, and take the cell drawing, put it on there. It's a little rig. You can buy these. I made my own scale and size. It's definitely not the proper way of doing it. I'm repurposing this piece of animation paper. Go ahead and lay those on top of each other there. And you can buy hole punched animation paper. What I did is I just make my own. Alright, so go ahead and do a drawing. You can turn on your light table. It's actually going to not help right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do my old buddy. We'll do our old buddy Raoul here. He's just going to be like chilling.
He's just going to be kicking a can. Do a little classic bottle of gin. And we're going to go ahead and draw some nice little flowers. Give him a little sun right there. To the crotch. And give him some little flowers.
Great, now that we have our drawing, it's time to start inking. You can definitely get a little inkwell and dip a brush and brush your animation cells. I usually get paint pens, different sizes. They got thick. These Sharpie ones are pretty good. You can get them at Walmart. It's never done me wrong. And then of course, very thin tip. This is a Craftsmart. These are really good. This is what I usually get. Yeah, and you can get them in multiple colors. I got blue as well. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start inking that cell. On the edges here, just so it doesn't move too much. And I'm gonna get a pretty medium-sized marker. And I'm gonna do the outline of everything. Bad angle. It's a really bad angle for this. I just realized I'm right-handed and you can't see anything I'm doing, so here we go again. Alright.
Get kind of the main outline here.
You definitely don't want to push down too hard with these paint pens, especially when they're low on ink, because they will just squirt ink out and ruin the cell, which just happened, but this is just an example, so who cares.
I'm not even showing you guys really how to animate today, because I only have one animation cell left. Or I would, but we're just running through this real quick. Okay. Bottle. Weep.
Now we're going to take the little pen. Alright, we have our inking done. Back to you. Alright, now that our cell has been inked, it's time to paint. Get out your acrylic paint and your paint brushes and just flip over the cell, and you want to paint the back side of the cell. Now from my experience, I started off using good acrylic paint that was meant for canvases, and that was a little too chunky. It didn't really smear very well on the cells, and I actually had to use more expensive acrylic paint to get the effect that I needed than when I used kind of low quality acrylic paint I get it at Walmart. It's very watery and liquidy, so it just spreads right out, so you got to be kind of careful with it, but it's just more efficient cost wise and time wise. So let's go ahead and grab our brushes and get painting. Put that all over. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, flip it over. A couple tips here. You might want to do, say, white first, let the thing dry, then do blue, let it dry, then red. That'd probably that's a smarter way of doing it. I've done that before. When you're doing, like, one time I had to paint hundreds of. I saved all my Raouls to the end, and I just did all of them, and I just did all the whites, and then I did all the blue, and then I did all the other colors. It made it more streamlined, but I don't do that all the time. And another thing, you're probably going to want to get a brush for each color. I'm not going to do that because you got to cut costs. Wherever you can, you got to cut costs. So this is just an example. Those are better ideas than what I'm teaching you. So get our paint in there, and yeah, you just start. Usually takes a couple of layers. This is a chunky, good paint, Liquitex. You'll see it doesn't quite spread as good. It's like too high quality of a paint for this. Can you see that? It's hard to see, but like I'm using way more and more expensive paint. So here's a time you'd want kind of a brush stroke look. Now if you don't blend your colors enough, they really can see the swirling pattern. I'm going to go ahead and do that here, just so you can see it. I'm not going to fully mix my color. It looks pretty cool, and it looks kind of cool for if you're going for more of a painting rather than like a cohesive animation. It looks kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm feeling lazy. It works out all around. And that's that. Now it's safe to kind of take a look. So you're going to want to leave it. So we're just going to go ahead and leave it here. let it dry. You probably want to give it about a day to dry, realistically. So yeah, we'll leave that here and we'll come back and scan it. After we let our cells dry, we're going to go on ahead over to the scanner and give it a scan. Time to scan. Usually I have access to a large scanner that I use. I don't have one right now. I think the technical technique is to somehow set up lighting to photograph them. I don't understand it. That's not what I do. You can do that. What I do is I scan them. You're going to want a bigger scanner. This is only 8.5 by 11, and the cells are bigger than that. But for the example today, we're going to go ahead and scan one in this scanner and send it to the computer. So if I was animating this, I would take this, put it down, scan it, take this one off, put the next one on, scan it. So you start, you put your first layer down, then you take your background layer, line it up, and then you take your final little actual background color that you want, put that on there, close it. Just scan it as a JPEG. And there you have it. That's how I do my animation cells. It's not the official old-fashioned way of doing it, but it's the way I've personally found a way to do it. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the process, and I recommend it. It is an expensive hobby, but it is worth it now. Like I said, the company that I ordered cells from no longer exists. There are other places you can get them. I've seen online. It's never cheap. But if you want to purchase an animation cell that I've used, I got a link in the description, ebay.com/AndrewDude1. I got animation cells that I've used in cartoons before, up for sale for a good price. Yeah. Besides that, thanks for watching, and I hope this was informative.